Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so as promised, I think I mentioned this in a couple of previous videos. Today we're going to have a look at the room that I teach from. Now this is a cedar-clad garden building which we built 6 years ago when we moved to this property in Nottingham. It's the room that I run my teaching practice from, where I teach guitar, bass and drums to around 40 or so private students a week. We built this from scratch. We had a company in to do it. It's a cedar-clad garden building, fully insulated, floor, ceiling, roof. It's essentially like an extension of the house, but separate. Standalone room, fully insulated, fully heated, and so on. So let's talk about how this was done. So I'll flip you around. We'll have a quick look. So it's actually 4 meters by 3 meters. That's external dimension, so slightly less than that inside. You can see we've got a drum kit, my guitar's there, computer setup, and now the computer comes into the house, as do the guitars, obviously from a security point of view when I'm not here. And we also have a little bit of storage and my books. So I did take quite a few photos while we were having it built to document the process. So what I'll do is I'll sit at the desk, we'll talk through what happened, and then I'll intersperse the photos in the video as we go. So yeah, great. So keep watching, should be interesting. Thanks. The previous property we were in, I had a room in the house from which all the teaching and music activities happened. However, once we moved here, the plan was always to have a separate and dedicated space from where I could run my teaching and music practice. So as I say, I'll drop in some photos as we go, and it's only going to be a quick outline showing how it was constructed from the ground up. It's not a building how-to video, but I think you'll be interested in any case. I certainly was, as it was being done. So initially the site was levelled, as you can see now from these photos, and a concrete base was put in. So they came in with a big, with all the proper big diggers and machines, and within the space of half a day had a nice flat space upon which they could lay the concrete base. I don't actually have a photo of that, but underneath it is a fully levelled concrete base for stability, durability, and so on. Okay, so then, as you can see, the floor has gone in, which is a stud floor construction. Similarly to the walls and the ceiling, as you can see, it actually went up pretty quickly from the photos that are in here. And then they've put on all the associated membranes to weatherproof the building. And you can see that actually it was fairly bad weather while they were doing it. So they soldiered on. It was in February 2018, I believe. So pretty cold, snowy at times. This whole process, by the way, from start to finish, only took about 5 or 6 days, I think, from memory. I think they started on the Monday and finished the following Monday, but that was only because actually it snowed one day, otherwise they'd have had it done quicker. So as these photos go on, you can see that they've clad the building in the material to keep it weatherproof. Inside, although we don't have any photos of it, but inside it's the classic stud wall construction and floor and ceiling actually, where they've put in blocks of insulation. So the room is actually just like you'd have in your own house in terms of usability all year round. Question that I do get asked quite a lot is it soundproofed? Well, not in the sense that a professional recording studio would be. Doesn't have any specialist materials. The reason I've only had one window actually is that sound tends to leak through the openings rather than the walls of buildings. So for the volume that we teach in, it's actually fine, and it's fairly far away from any of the neighbouring properties. We teach on electric drums in here, and the guitars and basses, we can keep them fairly quiet, as you'll see when we talk about the equipment that's in here. So it's not really an issue. It would have been quite expensive and probably taken up quite a lot of space from the room had we gone for the full professional insulation. Incidentally, it's 4 meters by 3 meters externally, so slightly less than that inside. Anyway, so as we move on, you can see that they've started to clad it in cedar wood panels, well, with strips of cedar wood. So it's a proper hardwood, fully weatherproof, doesn't require any treatment, although you can stain it. And this really sets it aside from the cheaper garden rooms that you find sometimes at garden centres or whatever. This cost me in the region of £14,000, and that was 6 years ago. I suspect it would be considerably more than that now. I think at £14,000 it was exceptional value, because I've got a room here which I can run my business from, which is entirely separate from the house, and it's a nice place to be, nice welcoming space where students feel at home, and we can get some good fun learning done. So once it was clad, you can see that we've had it fully plastered, and you can see that it was then decorated. And also the electrics were all done, all for the included price. So within the space of a week, we went from having a flat garden surface, which was useful for nothing, to having a fully functioning, fully wired in, fully insulated teaching space. The electrics were just spurred from the garage, which is literally next to this. This is in my garden. So that was a pretty straightforward job. Now, since it was built, the only thing I've actually done, which you can probably see there in the corner, actually, can you? Let's just point it. I have this air conditioner put in. I used to use just a fan heater, just to keep it warm in the winter, but actually I found that because it's outside, when we're getting like 35-degree summers, it gets fairly hot. So this is an air conditioning and a heating unit, which I've actually had installed. I was quite fortunate in that I know a friend who did them, so I was able to buy the unit on Amazon and just get him to actually install it. So as we walk around outside, you can see it's pretty close to the house. It was wired in from the garage, which is just there behind me, and there's the space. So students come in from this gate, then they walk up. There's the studio there. So just a very quick look at what we've got in here then. So we've got the drums that we teach on, so electric drum kit, selection of guitars and bass. This is where the student sits if they're learning guitar or bass. This is me, and then there's the basic desk setups. We've got iPad, MacBook, monitor, webcam, MIDI keyboard, and then my books and a little bit of storage there. As I say, that's just a brief look at where we sit and where we spend our days. I think what I'll do is I'll probably leave this video there for now, but that should give you an idea of the space we use, how it was built, and what a nice space it is for actually teaching. I think what we'll do is we'll have another video at some point in the very near future where I'm actually going to look in a little bit more detail about what I actually use to teach. So the MacBook that we've got, the stuff that we use on the iPad, the desk setup, and so on and so forth. I think that will be better off served in a separate video. So keep tuned for that. Now, obviously, I'll keep you all notified when that's going to be posted, but please, if you enjoyed it and see any value from this, like the video, please. Do subscribe to the channel, because there is going to be a lot more about my daily life as a music teacher and musician coming up soon. So like and subscribe, and thank you for your support so far. Please ask me any questions in the comments, and cheers for now. Thank you.